Level 1 of today's super sentence. You can say with me or pause the video and repeat after me. Slowly at first. A man makes an impulse buy online. One more time, a little bit faster now. A man makes an impulse buy online. Okay, so we've got a main character for today's super sentence, right? We know that today's sentence is going to be about this man. What is this man doing? He's buying something, right? Where is he buying it? He's buying it online, on the internet, right? And how is he buying it? Interesting. How is he buying it? He's buying it impulsively. Impulsively. What does it mean to buy something impulsively? If you do something impulsively, then that means you don't think about it before you do it. You just do it. You go with your gut and you do something. This guy was on the internet. He was shopping around. He was looking at this. He was looking at that. Then he saw something that he liked. He didn't think about it, right? He hadn't been planning to buy it for weeks and weeks and weeks, saving up money to do so. No, he saw it. He wanted it. He bought it. So we call that an impulse buy. Let's practice saying level 1 at a quick speed together, and then we'll move on. Ready? A man makes an impulse buy online. Again, a man makes an impulse buy online. A third time. A man makes an impulse buy online. Level 2 of our super sentence, you can see that I've added some blue text, some blue words. Yeah, we've taken this small little sentence and we've begun to stretch it longer and longer. That's what we're going to do with each level. So let's begin level 2 with a slow read. Once again, you can say it with me as I say it, or you can pause the video and you can repeat after. Okay, let's take a look. A man makes an impulse buy online while doom scrolling before bed. One more time, medium speed. A man makes an impulse buy online while doom scrolling before bed. All right, so what are we learning about the situation here in level 2? Well, he's getting ready for bed, but he's not quite ready yet because what is he doing? Here's a really interesting, really native expression. Doom scrolling. Doom scrolling. Actually, I would guess that a lot of native speakers don't even know this word, don't even know how to use it. It's kind of an internet slang term. Doom scrolling, doom scrolling. I'm sure we've all done this. If you doom scroll, then you take your phone and you go on a social media app like Instagram, right? And you scroll, 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 scroll. You just keep going and going and going, and you feel like you can't stop, right? Let's practice saying level 2 at a quick speed. Are you ready? A man makes an impulse buy online while doom scrolling before bed. One more time. A man makes an impulse buy online while doom scrolling before bed. Awesome. We've leveled up again. Our super sentence is getting more and more complex, more challenging, more difficult. Okay, let's read level 3 together at a slow speed. Let's take a look. A man makes an impulse buy online while doom scrolling before bed, adding a blender to his cart. One more time, medium speed. A man makes an impulse buy online while doom scrolling before bed, adding a blender to his cart. Okay, so now we can see what this guy bought, right? He, I guess, was in the market for a blender. A blender. Yeah, you guys know blender, right? You can use it in your kitchen. It's an appliance, an electronic appliance that we use to blend things up, right? Maybe you want to make a fruit smoothie. You put a bunch of different fruits and powders and maybe milk and ice into a blender, you turn it on. I guess this guy was in the market for a blender. In the market for. In other words, maybe he's been needing a blender, but then again, maybe he hasn't been needing a blender because remember, this is an impulse buy. So actually, come to think of it, maybe he isn't even in the market for a blender. In other words, maybe this is something he really doesn't even need. Maybe it's something really unnecessary. If you are in the market for something, then you are planning to buy it because you need it, right? For example, I'm in the market for new boots for this fall, right? I need new fall boots. I don't have any, so I'm in the market for fall boots. Who knows if this guy was really in the market for a blender or not, but we do know that he bought it online impulsively, which tells me it was probably unnecessary, right? Let's say it one more time at a quick speed, and then we'll level up again. Ready? A man makes an impulse buy online while doom scrolling before bed, adding a blender to his cart. Level 4, getting more and more difficult, more and more challenging. Guys, we are working out that spoken English muscle in the same way you would work out your biceps or your back or your other muscle groups at the gym, right? We are working out our spoken English muscles. So let's read level 4 slowly at first. A man makes an impulse buy online while doom scrolling before bed, adding a blender to his cart without checking the reviews. Uh-oh, that's not a great idea, huh? Let's read it again, medium speed. A man makes an impulse buy online while doom scrolling before bed, adding a blender to his cart without checking the reviews. I think we all know that when you are online shopping, it's a great idea to check the reviews. What are people saying about the product? How are they reviewing the product? Are they leaving good reviews or are they leaving bad reviews? Are they giving 5-star reviews or are they giving 1-star reviews, right? Although, I'll be honest, these days it's kind of hard to be sure, right? Because a lot of products on the internet have fake reviews. So even if something has a bunch of 5-star reviews, maybe the person selling the product, the seller of the product, simply paid for those reviews, right? Maybe they're fake. Maybe they're bots, like robots online, right? But anyway, this guy, he did not check the reviews of this blender, and maybe that decision will come back to haunt him. Come back to haunt him. In other words, maybe it's a decision that he will end up regretting later on, later down the road. Okay, let's say it one more time quickly now. A man makes an impulse buy online while doom scrolling before bed, adding a blender to his cart without checking the reviews. One more time. A man makes an impulse buy online while doom scrolling before bed, adding a blender to his cart without checking the reviews. Level 5. If you guys are still with me, you are killing it. You are killing it. You're doing a really good job, and we are already halfway there. So push yourself. Keep going. You will be glad you did because your English speaking skills are going to get better and better. Let's do a slow read. A man makes an impulse buy online while doom scrolling before bed, adding a blender to his cart without checking the reviews, thinking he found a steal. One more time, medium speed. A man makes an impulse buy online while doom scrolling before bed, adding a blender to his cart without checking the reviews, thinking he found a steal. What does it mean if you say something is a steal? Oh, that winter coat is such a steal. Oh, those headphones are such a steal. Oh, that computer, wow, what a deal. That computer is such a steal. If something is such a steal, then that means you are getting a great deal by buying it. It's such a good deal that it almost feels like you're stealing it, right? Like you are getting away with something. Getting away with STH something. Feels like you're getting away with something, almost like you are committing a crime or doing something you shouldn't be doing, something you're not supposed to be doing, right? Because how can something be such a good deal? Let's say it one more time quickly now. A man makes an impulse buy online while doom scrolling before bed, adding a blender to his cart without checking the reviews, thinking he found a steal. Level 6, push yourself slowly at first. A man makes an impulse buy online while doom scrolling before bed, adding a blender to his cart without checking the reviews, thinking he found a steal, and waits 2 weeks for delivery. Okay, once more, medium speed. A man makes an impulse buy online while doom scrolling before bed, adding a blender to his cart without checking the reviews, thinking he found a steal, and waits 2 weeks for delivery. Okay, so anticipation. Anticipation is building. Anticipation is building. He is eagerly awaiting the arrival of this blender, this impulse buy, right? He made an impulse buy. He's excited about it. He didn't even check the reviews. He just saw it and he knew he wanted it, so he purchased it. Now he's waiting 2 weeks for it to be delivered, for it to arrive at his house. And yeah, he's filled with anticipation. He's eager. He can't wait to get his hands on that blender. Maybe he's planning to use it in his cooking routine at home. Maybe he wants to make more smoothies and live a more healthy lifestyle, right? But he's waiting for this blender to show up. One more time, quickly, before we level up. A man makes an impulse buy online while doom scrolling before bed, adding a blender to his cart without checking the reviews, thinking he found a steal, and waits 2 weeks for delivery. All right, guys, we're at level 7 now, and this is no Weenie Hut Jr. anymore. This is getting really challenging, really difficult, right? So let's cut out the slow speed. We're going to jump right to medium speed. A man makes an impulse buy online while doom scrolling before bed, adding a blender to his cart without checking the reviews, thinking he found a steal, and waits 2 weeks for delivery, imagining all the fancy smoothies he'll make. Okay, so he is planning on making smoothies, and not just any kind of ordinary smoothie, fancy smoothies, right? So he's really gonna shell out for these smoothies. Shell out? What does that mean? If you shell out for something, that means you spend a lot of money to make it good. You spend a lot of money for a high level of quality, right? Like, let's say I'm redesigning my living room and I want to turn it into a man cave. What's a man cave? A man cave is a kind of a stereotypical idea of what a guy would do when designing a room to make it the most enjoyable thing for guys, right? Like maybe there's football decorations, maybe he's got a really big TV, maybe he's got like a gaming console set up, he's got beer, he's got foosball, he's got a poker table, etc., etc. That's a man cave, kind of a room that men would really enjoy, right? So let's say that I want to redesign my living room and turn it into a man cave, okay? I'm not just going to buy a deck of cards and, a cheap gaming console. I'm going to shell out. I'm going to shell out and I'm going to buy the best of everything to make that man cave extra impressive. One more time, quick speed, let's go. A man makes an impulse buy online while doom scrolling before bed, adding a blender to his cart without checking the reviews, thinking he found a steal, and waits 2 weeks for delivery, imagining all the fancy smoothies he'll make. Level 8, we're almost there, guys. Push, 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 keep going. No pain, no gain. Let's do a medium speed read of level 8. A man makes an impulse buy online while doom scrolling before bed, adding a blender to his cart without checking the reviews, thinking he found a steal, and waits 2 weeks for delivery, imagining all the fancy smoothies he'll make. But when it arrives, it doesn't even turn on? What a disaster. What a nightmare. He spent money to buy this blender. He bought it impulsively. He was thinking that it could turn his life around and, help him achieve a healthier lifestyle, right? A more healthy way of living. But after waiting 2 long weeks for this blender to arrive, when it does arrive, it doesn't even turn on. The thing is super low quality and it's dead on arrival. Dead on arrival. The thing is broken and he hasn't even gotten a chance to use it once. I feel kind of bad for this guy, our main character, right? Maybe he had already gotten all of the smoothie ingredients purchased and set up in his kitchen. He was ready to go. He was ready to make these fancy smoothies and get healthy, get fit. All he was missing was the blender. That was the key missing piece of the puzzle, right? But when it arrived, the darn thing didn't even work. One more time, level 8, quick read. Here we go. A man makes an impulse buy online while doom scrolling before bed, adding a blender to his cart without checking the reviews, thinking he found a steal, and waits 2 weeks for delivery, imagining all the fancy smoothies he'll make, but when it arrives, it doesn't even turn on. We are getting really close, my friends. Medium speed read. Ooh, that rhymes. Medium speed read of level 9. Here we go. A man makes an impulse buy online while doom scrolling before bed, adding a blender to his cart without checking the reviews, thinking he found a steal, and waits 2 weeks for delivery, imagining all the fancy smoothies he'll make, but when it arrives, it doesn't even turn on, and he realizes there's no return policy. What? No. This fancy smoothie situation is getting worse and worse, right? He didn't check the reviews. He bought it impulsively, and now, just like I mentioned earlier, that decision has come back to haunt him. It's back to haunt him. Right? Because there's no return policy. In other words, there's no way for him to send it back and get his money back. So he is stuck. He is stuck with this broken blender. One more time, quickly. A man makes an impulse buy online while doom scrolling before bed, adding a blender to his cart without checking the reviews, thinking he found a steal, and waits 2 weeks for delivery, imagining all the fancy smoothies he'll make, but when it arrives, it doesn't even turn on, and he realizes there's no return policy. Now, guys, we've reached level 10, the final boss of today's speaking lesson, but before we jump into it, I just quickly want to ask a favor of the audience. Please click like on this video. It supports me so much as your YouTube English teacher. Make sure you're subscribed. Leave me a comment letting me know who you are and why you're learning English, or why you like this video or dislike this video. I'm open to your thoughts and opinions. But guys, your likes and subs and comments, they make it possible for me to do what I do. Without you guys, there would be no English is Easy. So thank you for all of your support, and let's take a look at level 10 with a medium speed read. A man makes an impulse buy online while doom scrolling before bed, adding a blender to his cart without checking the reviews, thinking he found a steal, and waits 2 weeks for delivery, imagining all the fancy smoothies he'll make. But when it arrives, it doesn't even turn on, and he realizes there's no return policy, so it ends up as an expensive doorstop. We have a pretty funny ending to this crazy roller coaster of a super sentence, right? What does he end up doing with this broken blender? In other words, in the end, how does he make use of this broken blender? Well, it ends up as an expensive doorstop. Yeah, we use a doorstop to prop open a door. Prop open. You know, if you don't want a door to close, you can put something heavy in front of it, right? To prevent it from closing, to stop it from closing, right? So that's what he ends up using this blender for. He puts it in front of his door and uses it as a very expensive doorstop, all right? So, you know, it's not an ideal situation. It's not ideal. It's not the best case scenario for this purchase, by any means, right? By any stretch of the imagination, this is not a best case scenario. In fact, it's basically a worst case scenario. But this guy, he's choosing to look on the bright side. He's choosing to see the silver lining in the situation. In other words, he's going to make the most, make the best of a bad situation, and he's still going to use this broken blender. In fact, it seems like he found a pretty creative way to use it, right? So at least there's that. At least it's not a complete waste of time and money. And maybe our friend has learned a lesson about late night doom scrolling impulse buying, right? Okay, guys, final time reading this sentence. Quick speed, let's go. Push one last time. A man makes an impulse buy online while doom scrolling before bed, adding a blender to his cart without checking the reviews, thinking he found a steal, and waits 2 weeks for delivery, imagining all the fancy smoothies he'll make. But when it arrives, it doesn't even turn on, and he realizes there's no return policy, so it ends up as an expensive doorstop. If you made it all the way through this crazy super sentence, take your hand, give yourself a pat on the back because you deserve it, my friend. Now, no great workout is complete without a cool down activity, so that's what we're going to do now. Just bring things down with a chill, relaxed, kind of exit activity for this video. So we talked about impulse buys, right? It's a purchase that you make without putting too much thought into it. Here's my question for you. Here's my question that we're going to think about and respond to. Have you ever made an impulse buy while scrolling online? How did it pan out? In other words, how did things go? Was it a good decision, this impulse buy, or was it a bad decision? I want you guys to push yourselves to speak for a full minute. You don't have to speak quickly or impressively or anything like that. You don't have to use big words. Just push yourself to keep going for a full minute. I'm going to go first to give you an idea of what I'd like you to try and do. So here's my minute responding to this question. You know, actually, for me, this is a pretty relatable topic. It's a pretty funny topic, too, because I make impulse purchases online all the time. And these purchases usually have something to do with fitness, with working out, because I always go through these phases, these periods of time where I get really excited about working out, right? Getting back in shape. And I will go online, I'll see something that's supposed to make fitness, working out easier, and I get excited and I buy it, and then it's delivered and I realize, oh, this thing is low quality, or this thing is not very good, or maybe I use it for 1 or 2 days and then I get bored of it. One time I bought like a shake weight that was supposed to build muscle in your chest, and the thing was so bad. It just didn't work at all. And that was a poor decision for sure. All right, that was my response, my personal connection to this theme, this idea of impulse buys. What about you? Do you make impulse buys? Do you doom scroll late at night? Let me know. Push yourself for 1 minute and respond to this question. Go ahead. A massive, massive, huge shout out and thanks to all of my channel members and my Patreon members. You guys make my work possible. And if you've watched this video all the way through, you're still listening to me right now, and you are not a channel member, then I really think it would be for you. I think you would enjoy it. You can click join here on YouTube. You can go to patreon.com/EnglishWithConnor to become a member for only $5. You get tons of perks like PDFs for all of my videos. You get hours and hours of bonus videos, bonus content. You make a commitment to yourself to take your English studies seriously. And you also support me as a small YouTuber trying to do this full time. So I appreciate all of my members. Guys, if you are in the middle of a study session right now, keep going. I'm going to put another one of my videos up on the screen. Click on it. I'll meet you there. Let's go.